Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest and most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and on occasion, make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Me, a 25-year-old male, with my wife, a 23-year-old female. She informs me at her sister's wedding that she has slept with the best man. Guys, this story is about a guy. He is, like I said, 25 years old. His wife is 23. They're kids, let's be honest here. And you're going to see they've been married for like 3 years. So she was 20 when she got married, a kid, and he was 22. No life experience, and to no surprise, what you're about to hear in this story, what happens. And basically, on the day of the sister's wedding, he's going to find out that she had hooked up with the best man, I believe, many, many, many times. But she doesn't quite say it just like that in the beginning. And it's this whole thing of drama and turmoil the whole day that could have been avoided. But you're going to see she liked the drama. And you're going to see when this guy finds out, ultimately, she twists things around to make him to be the bad guy. She was the cheater, but he's the bad guy. And this is a perfect example, guys, of gaslighting, of how it happens to guys, and just guys put up with it. It's unfreaking believable how women can actually look at themselves because they do this type of stuff. But it happens. And there's so many guys who are dumb enough to actually buy into it and put up with it. And also the lesson of don't get married so early. And they're kids, for God's sakes. But anyhow, I talk long enough. Get right into it, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here. Says here, begins, the time frame is important here. We've been married for 3 years. We were together as a couple for 2 years before that. So we've been together for almost 5 years. Again, so they started when he was 20 and she was 18. Kids. 2 weekends ago, her sister got married, and of course my wife was in the wedding party. So as you would expect, she spent the 2 weeks prior to the wedding helping her sister get everything ready. No big deal at all. She kept me informed, and I knew this was going to happen. She took that Wednesday through Friday off to work to help her, and in fact stayed with her for 3 days. I certainly know her sister, and I barely know the guy who now is my brother-in-law. In fact, I only met him a few times, but he seems like a nice guy. I show up Saturday morning, a few hours before the ceremony, in hopes of stealing just a few minutes to see her, not wanting to intrude on the day since I know she is busy, but I hadn't seen her since Tuesday. She sees me outside of her parents' house and sends her brother out to tell me that she will come out and see me at the car, which I thought was odd, but whatever. It is odd. And trust your gut. When your gut is telling you something strange or off, always trust your gut. She finally comes out and sits in the seat next to me and gives me a kiss, but instead of acting happy to see me or whatever, she tells me that she has to talk to me and she doesn't want to ruin her sister's day. Pay attention to that, guys. Let me read that one more time. This is very important for this story. She has to talk to me and doesn't want to ruin her sister's day. Well, if you don't want to ruin your sister's day, perhaps whatever it is you have to talk to this guy about can wait until the next day. But nope, this is on purpose. She informs me that at the reception, if I still want to go, I might hear some things about the best man and her, and she didn't want it to be awkward or weird. I just sat there, stunned. Again, she didn't want to ruin the day. Why'd she bring this up? Unless she wanted to ruin things, unless she wanted drama. And as I've told you guys before, all women love drama. Some like it way more than others, but even the most cool girls like a little drama now and again. And if they say they don't, they're lying. She said that about 4 years ago, she had a fling with him, and that didn't mean anything, but she was aware that by nature, I'm somewhat jealous, and she wanted me to know in advance so that if I heard anything, that it wouldn't be a surprise. 4 years? Wait a second here. It said here they've been together for 5 years, so she was cheating on him. But he doesn't quite connect the dots yet, probably because he was a little shocked. Again, I just kind of sat there. That was not how I thought my morning would go, but I told her I appreciate knowing it and that it certainly wasn't a big deal now. Dude, can't you do math? 4 years ago, you were together for 5? She's probably walking away like, what a dumb mother... Seriously. She went back in the house, and I went to eat lunch and decided to meet her at the church. As I'm eating and reading my phone, it dawns on me that she said she had a fling with him 4 years ago, and we've been together for 5. My first reaction was to blow it off and think that she's just told me the wrong time, but the more I thought about it, the more I started to remember about a year and a half of us being together. She had a phase where she acted really sketchy. She was really sketchy about her behavior. wasn't available when she normally was, and went on 2 weekend camping trips that with friends from work. Aha! Now things are starting to add up. It's those sketchy moments, guys, when you have to question things. When there's red flags, when your gut tells you something's off. Pay attention to that. Learn from these stories that I break down and interrupt all the time. Of course, I'm a little gnawed up over this, but I know I have a long day ahead of me. I go to the wedding and sit there watching everything. After the wedding, they have a line that you walk by and congratulate the bride and the groom, and the wedding party is standing in line as well. My wife is standing there with some other guy. I don't know him at all. But the best man was there, and I just went down the line and acted like it was no big deal. I got to the reception, and it takes forever for them to come out because of photos. She finally gets there and sits with me. I decide not to say anything as I didn't want to distract from the day. But instead of just letting it go, she then tells me that each of the groomsmen and bridesmaids are going to dance and that she's going to be dancing with him. Imagine that. I asked why when she was not his partner for the party, and she said that the maid of honor and her partner were actually married and wanted to dance with each other. At this point, I'm a little more than perturbed, but I try and not let it show. Thankfully, I was smart enough to not drink because I freely admit I'm an angry drunk and I know when not to even partake. She talks to everyone around her, and then the dance comes, and he comes over and extends his arm, and she gets up. I try not to watch, and in fact, I make a point not to. You know, by the way, guys, at this point, I would be bringing up this whole 4 years thing. But he doesn't. And I get he doesn't want to. I get he probably wants to be the bigger person and not bring it up, that day because of the wedding and all that stuff. But most guys would not. But you're going to see that he's not going to keep this quiet too long. She comes back with him in tow, and they are. Let me hang on a second here. It says he comes over, extends his arm, and she gets up. I try not to watch, and in fact, I make a point not to. She comes back with him in tow, and they're joking like the best of friends. She decides that it would be a good idea to introduce us. While I didn't say f off like I wanted to, and I was probably then more than cordial. But it did not deter him from sitting there and talking to her for a few minutes. Of course. And of course, obviously, this is the dude. This is obviously the guy she was cheating with. He knew you were together, and he was probably laughing about it. This is Chad and Tyrone. The more they sat and talked and reminisced about old times and the places, the madder I got. Eventually, I got up and went to the bathroom, and when I came back, he was gone. When I read this, guys, I had an idea what was going on here, and I'll share more as the story goes. Why she said what she did when she did, why she's acting when she's acting. Maybe some of you guys can figure it out, and you'll see when I reveal this at the end. She decided to tell me that she thought I was rude. That's a lot of nerve, which was not what I was all about hearing at the moment. I told her that this wasn't the time or place to talk about it, but rest assured we would talk later. She sat there and then said that she was going to change clothes, and as soon as we got back, she was telling her sister that we were leaving because I had ruined her day, but she didn't want me to ruin her sister's day as well. Hang on a second. He ruined the day? We all heard that she went out to the car and said, oh, by the way, 4 years ago, I was having relations with the best man. So in case you heard any rumors. Well, gee, we were together for 5 years, therefore you were cheating on me. And therefore, but I'm ruining the day because I wouldn't chit-chat with the guy you're hooking up with? The gaslighting begins. The drama continues. I told her that I was perfectly capable of not being a bother to her or her sister for the rest of the day, and I did not want to be the cause of any drama, so I would prefer to just stay. She went on and changed clothes anyway, and then came back all in a huff. Now understand I said not a word to her or even shook the other guy's hand. I guess I just looked miserable, so that's what she was basing this off of. She was adamant about not staying, and so I said that if she really wanted to go, we could go, but she would rather stay. I'd be happy to stay, or if she would like, since I came in my own car, I would leave so she could stay. Remember, this is the girl said, I want to ruin my sister's big day, but still had to tell him before the party. She at first said that we should stay, but then it said if I couldn't act any better, I should leave. Oh, she is rude. I couldn't act any better. She's the cheater. She's the liar. She's the one that started all this drama. I asked how was I acting, and she said it was obvious I was trying to be like a silverback gorilla wanting to fight. I didn't know whether to laugh at her or be offended. I went back in and sat down while she mingled with the other guests. I talked with her brother for a while, but then ultimately ended up back at our table talking with her grandma. We leave at the same time, and I arrived home just before she did. I was sitting in the living room waiting for her to come in, and she did not beat around the bush. I simply asked her to retell me the story about the other guy, and she said it word for word like before. After sitting and looking at her for a time, I just said, "Are you sure about the time frame?" And she said she was. I then reminded her that we'd been together for 5 years, so this fling was well over a year with us being together. What happened next, I can't really put into words. Instead of being flustered or denying anything, she simply said, "I know." She knows she cheated. She did this on purpose. Here's my guess, guys. Reveal this in the middle here. My guess is this. The wedding preparations were going on a few weeks before. She ran into this dude. Old feelings were rekindled. She realized, you know what, being married isn't exactly what's cracked up to be, given the fact that she's 23 and a freaking kid. I see this guy here. I have an idea. I'm going to sabotage things. The day of the wedding, I'm going to tell my husband, who's a good guy, about this other dude. And then he's going to get understandably upset. And I'm going to gaslight and twist things around, make it like it's his fault. And then I have a reason to end it and move on. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I think will happen here. Drama, drama, drama. Gaslighting, the whole 9 yards. So any of you dumbasses that are young and think you're going to get married and you're with this mature girl and you're only like in your early 20s, think twice. So I asked her to explain, and she tells me that they worked together and that it was just a physical thing. And she felt like we weren't in a great place at the time, and she never had any feelings for him and never had any real intentions of leaving me. She was just having some fun for a few weekends. Well, if they weren't in a great place, why didn't she break up with this guy? Because she, just like many others, like to have that sure thing, that rock. Every girl wants to get married once. Have that nice guy in reserve. Meanwhile, go have fun or roll in the hay with a bad boy until it gets old. And they got their nice guy at home who's completely clueless and doesn't have the spine to act. I know I'm being blunt here, but it's the reality. She said that it was probably a mistake on her part to tell me now, but she didn't want me to get blindsided. I did not take this the way she thought I would, I guess. We had a very large argument and ended up when she told me I was being a child about this. That we were married, and this happened way before that, and our life together now has nothing to do with him or that time. A child, he's upset because she cheated, and he's acting like a child. So aside from being a gaslighter and a total bitch, now she is being condescending. Get out of there, end it, she's a piece of crap. He says, well, 2 things. One, I adamantly disagree about this, and it has no bearing on us. She effing cheated on me, and it doesn't even have the goddamn decency to feel guilty about it. She doesn't care. I think she's sabotaging this. That's what I think. 2, I hate being told I'm childish when I get upset over something. It pisses me off to no end because that is her way of acting superior to me. Yeah, and she knows it. She knows what she's doing. She's doing all this on purpose to get you fired up so she has an easy way out. Guaranteed. I told her I needed time to think, and she told me there was nothing to think about. We loved each other, and this didn't change anything. Sure. So if the situation was reversed, and he revealed to her all these things, are you telling me she wouldn't freak out? Are you telling me she would, if he told her that she was acting like a child, and it wasn't a big deal, and all that, it doesn't change anything, you think she would respond, okay, no big deal? No. Gaslighting. That was 2 weeks ago, and I'm still not over it. She has been trying the past few days to get me to talk to her, but I admit that for whatever reason, I'm not viewing her the same way as I did before. Gee, you think? Part of me is like, this is stupid, it happened a few years ago, and we are married now, and there hasn't been any problems at all. Smack. Dude, she's a liar, she's a cheater, she's a drama queen. She's messing things up on purpose. You want to be married to that? Come on here. But then part of me is like, I just found out that she cheated on me, and it hurts like a mother effer. And what really makes it worse is that instead of trying to understand how I feel, she's trying to guilt me and just not even thinking about it. I don't know what to do. Smack. What do you mean you don't know what to do? She's an awful person, not to mention a kid, 23. End it. Get rid of her. Okay? You may take a hit in the short term in the divorce process. Depending on where you live, move on. You want to be married to this? She's going to cheat on you more, guaranteed. Lie to you, make you feel bad. This is a supportive wife. This isn't loyal. This isn't love. But so many guys get into situations like this because they got some hot girl. But when you didn't get her, her boyfriends are getting her, and they get the bare minimum. He says, I'm sorry for the length, but I probably should have cut out some of the wedding stuff, but it all came out at once. Don't worry about the length. We like to hear details. So now, and that's the end of his story here. But basically, end this situation. Guys, so many guys get into marriages and they don't do their homework on the girl. They don't do the research. They don't connect the dots. They don't know her friends, her family, and all that. They don't see her in real life situations. And they just figure, I got a hot girl. Everything will be great. And things happen. I've done countless stories on this. From online, from guys that tell me their stories. There's my life experiences, people I know, friends, family. It's unbelievable. Happens all around the world. Same stories. That's why I do what I do. Now here are a few comments here to show you I'm not alone in my opinion. He should get out of there and she's a piece of garbage. One guy says, he's quoting her. He's making fun of her. This quote is making fun of this guy's wife. Hey, I had this fling with this dude about a year into our relationship. I was going to take it to the grave, but now he's the best man, so in case I get caught, I thought I'd just tell you now. Oh, and if you'll meet him face to face too. Not until after I'm done dancing with him, though. The guy says, what? Funny how she thinks the mistake is telling you now, not cheating in the first place. The blaming is really great, too. You are the one that ruined her day at her sister's wedding. You are the one being childish. She seems like a very accountable and trustworthy person. Being sarcastic. Right, she's a piece of garbage. Another guy says, sarcastically, dude, her mental gymnastics are at least as disturbing as the cheating. The lack of remorse alone is pretty sick. She has no remorse because she doesn't care. 3 years of marriage is a long time, but throwing a betrayal out of the cuff like that, acting like it's no big deal, is some serious red flag shit. What else is easier for you just not to know? What else are you going to do to make a scene about? Your missus needs help. If she can't figure out why, you'd be pissed about that. Seriously consider getting out of there, man. Don't consider it. Get out of there. It's done. Another guy says, I feel like it may have to do with how she views sex and relationships to her. My question would be, if the tables were turned, how would she react? Right. She would lose her mind. Perhaps in her mind, what she did was more or less acceptable for one person to act in a relationship in her situation. And maybe if the same thing happened to her, she would not be upset about it. No. Bullshit. She knows what she did was wrong. She doesn't care. I think she wants a way out of the marriage. I'm not saying it makes it okay, but maybe they have different views on the dating contract that weren't explicitly disclosed. No, I don't buy that at all. Another guy says, last one, her nonchalant attitude about all this is very appalling. I'm of the mindset that if you let this incident slide, and she's hoping you will, it will signal to her that she can potentially get away with anything in the future. Yes. That amount of leverage, coupled with her current it was no big deal attitude, does not bode well. Right. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And mark my words, that if this guy just lets this slide, she'll be like, okay. And he'll be on to somebody else. Or the same best man guy. And the lying will continue, the gaslighting will continue, the making him feel like crap will continue. He'll be miserable. Why be in a miserable marriage? Even if you take a hit in the short term, move on. Life is short, guys. You only get one shot. But so many guys just get themselves in such a bad situation, and they go through so much hell and pain until they finally, for whatever reason, get out of it. Or the woman dumps them, and they look back and say, why did I do this years ago? Why did I listen to my bros? Why did I listen to my dad? Why did I listen to that guy on YouTube in the sunglasses and the leather jacket? I should have listened to that guy. He knew what he was talking about, even though he's talking in his car. It's not worth it. So guys, if you're watching this, in your situation, your relationship with your girl isn't too good, or fiance or even wife, really think about the big picture. And if you're married and you have kids, and the kids are seeing this drama and turmoil between you and the missus, how's it going to work well for them? You think they're going to end up in relationships that are going to be healthy and good? No. They're going to be raised thinking this is how things are, and they'll end up in relationships just like this. And you don't want that for your kids, your sons, or your daughters. So it's best to move on, because people generally do not change. Okay, you wish they change, but they generally don't. I'm trying to keep it real here. I'm being honest. A lot of people think I'm pessimistic and negative and all sorts of other negative terms toward me, but I'm keeping it real. And a lot of you guys watching this all over the world, different phases of your lives, have been through some things. You've been around the block. you know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't be watching me regularly if you didn't think I knew what I was talking about. So for you guys out there that are in a situation that's not too good, kind of like this, reconsider your situation. And for the rest of you guys watching this, maybe for entertainment purposes, this will teach you, pay attention to the red flags. Don't tolerate any crap. I don't want it to come back and bite you in the butt one day. So anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below what you think about this. And guys, if you have a great story to share, your own personal story, or a great story you came across online that's crazy or outrageous, or anything that'd be really good, kind of connected to what I do in this channel, by all means, email it to me. I have the email address in the comment section, the description, as well as in the about section of this channel. Email it to me, and if it's definitely good, I'll certainly do it in a future video. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.